May 2015. The world is in chaos.
France is now on its highest level of alert against another terrorist attack.
The so-called Islamic State is waging war. In Britain, the Prime Minister is fighting to stay in power.
Don't you ever dare lecture us about how to help the many in our country.
And a royal event is capturing the headlines.
We welcome, with humble duty, the second born of the Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge.
Prince William and Kate Middleton are celebrating the birth of their second child, Princess Charlotte.
Oh, it's fantastic. Little baby girl, well done. Little princess, good on her.
It's a girl! It's a girl! Yes, lovely! Yeah!
Her brother George, just 2 years old, will one day, like his father, be king. But Charlotte is almost certain never to be queen. One of a growing number of the royal family who are destined to serve, but never inherit. They are the spare heirs.
So the new princess will be fourth in line to the throne, and she doesn't know it yet, of course. But this little one already occupies a unique place in British constitutional history. She is the first female royal heir who cannot be superseded by a male heir born after her.
Charlotte is unique in more ways than one. Her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, is Britain's longest and oldest serving monarch. Her grandfather, Prince Charles, will one day become king. Her father will also become king, as will her brother George. But she, unless something tragic happens to all of them, will always be a princess. Her official position puts her fourth in line to the throne. But that doesn't mean Charlotte will be able to live a normal life, free from the burdens of royal duties and cameras. The House of Windsor doesn't work like that. Charlotte, like all spare heirs within what the royal family call the firm, will be groomed from the moment she toddles to step into the breach, should the unthinkable happen. And there is precedence for this, close to home. When Elizabeth was born, she was never expected to become queen. Not only was she female, at a time when male heirs were given priority over their elder sisters, but also her father wasn't a direct heir. His brother Edward was. Spare heir Elizabeth's destiny was changed only because her uncle chose love over duty. And Queen Elizabeth isn't the only one. Kings such as William II through to Henry VIII were also spares. Perhaps the most famous and tragic spare heirs are known as the Princes in the Tower, Edward V of England and Richard of Shrewsbury, the Duke of York. When their father, Edward IV, died, his brother Richard took his young sons, aged 12 and 9, to the Tower of London for safekeeping. They were never seen again, and their uncle became Richard III. Prince Charles's namesake and ancestor, Charles I, was also a spare heir, who inherited when his older brother died of typhoid. But he made a hash of it, starting a civil war with his own parliament and having his head chopped off in 1649. Modern spare heirs don't get beheaded, but their every move is now scrutinised and followed by the media, as Elizabeth's younger sister, Princess Margaret, discovered.
I think that Princess Margaret did find it at times quite frustrating, because I remember her saying once, you know, nobody ever asked her opinion about anything. She was just told when to turn up and told what to do.
Princess Margaret was 10th in line to the throne when she was first told to wave to the British people. She and her sister both expected to remain spare heirs, enjoying a childhood under the radar. How wrong they were.
Nobody thought she would ever be heiress to the throne. Her parents were the Duke and Duchess of York. Then suddenly her father became king. The royal family at the coronation, and the 11-year-old princess was next in line to become queen.
During World War II, Elizabeth, as a potential future queen, was in the forefront of the war effort, while Margaret was filmed as a fun-loving civilian, leading to a view within royal circles that she was a spoilt child. But the public liked her, and she became popular. When she mingled with the crowds outside Buckingham Palace as the war in Europe ended, Instead of appearing on the famous balcony with the rest of the royals, that popularity grew. As her sister gave birth to children, Margaret was pushed further down the pecking order. But when Elizabeth became queen, Margaret found herself the centre of attention. Despite her royal upbringing, she was unprepared for the social whirl that was to follow. As the post-war years became the 50s and then the swinging 60s, Margaret found herself at the heart of high society and a fashion icon.
Princess Margaret retains her place as an outstanding leader of fashion with a charm so much her own.
That charm made her the most photographed woman of her day. But her love life remained largely private. Britain's press was nowhere near as tabloid as today. The wheels came off her bandwagon when news leaked out that she was in a close relationship with her father's former equerry, Captain Peter Townsend. Equerries are officers of the royal household who were supposed to assist members of the family, not date them. Peter Townsend was 16 years Margaret's senior, with 2 children from a previous marriage. The romance became as controversial as the one that had caused her uncle, Edward VIII, to abdicate. Matters went from bad to worse when Townsend divorced his wife and asked the princess to marry him.
Upon Princess Margaret centers worldwide interest, and sharing the spotlight is Group Captain Peter Townsend. The Group Captain accompanied the late King and his family on their South African tour. He and the then very young princess were forming a friendship. 2 years ago, he left the royal household and was posted to Brussels. Rumor that they had been long in love seemed confirmed. At this stage, it was still asked, will they become engaged? Millions all over the world impatiently wonder. A female in the milk business was the only one not curious.
Margaret accepted and informed her sister, whose consent was required.
It was now understood that there could not be any news until the Prime Minister had had audience with Her Majesty after her return to London.
Queen Elizabeth was in a bind. As monarch, she could not say yes without the support of her government and the Church of England, and they were both saying no. Even though the general public supported Margaret, behind the scenes, she was facing bitter opposition. Her royal family feared a repeat of the Edward VIII controversy. On October the 31st, 1955, Margaret issued a statement saying she had decided not to marry Peter Townsend.
Now she has put her royal duty first. The hearts of all in Britain and the Commonwealth are with the young princess who has chosen not self, but country.
But Margaret showed no sign of not enjoying herself as she rejoined the nightlife of London. Her close circle of friends became known as the Margaret set, and her life became a succession of fast cars, clubs, and all-night parties. She also found a new beau, Billy Wallace, the son of a government minister. But their planned marriage was cut short when he was caught having an affair whilst on a visit to the Bahamas. Margaret eventually fell for one of Britain's top photographers, Anthony Armstrong-Jones. He had taken the official portraits for the Queen and Prince Philip's Royal Tour of Canada in 1957. When they married in Westminster Abbey, it became the first royal wedding to be broadcast on television. 300 million watched worldwide. Because he was a commoner, and in those days it was unthinkable that they might have children without a royal title, Armstrong-Jones was made the first Earl of Snowdon, and Margaret became the Countess of Snowdon. Even though the wedding captured the imagination of television viewers, it did not meet with everyone's approval. Anthony was, after all, a photographer without royal blood. It was Anthony's day job as a photographer that first brought tensions to the marriage. He spent long periods abroad for his work, often with attractive models. Margaret expanded her social set to include showbiz celebrities. She spent time with Rolling Stone Mick Jagger and comic actor Peter Sellers, who was smitten by the princess he called Mam Darling. By 1973, the Snowdons were separated in all but name. But Margaret really caused an upset when she began a relationship with this man, Sir Roddy Llewellyn. A baronet and TV gardening expert, he was 17 years younger, the son of a former Olympic equestrian gold medalist and a member of the British aristocracy. The papers dubbed him Margaret's toy boy. As the princess enjoyed the high life, Britain's politicians criticised her, saying she wasn't worth the £55,000 she received from the public purse every year. Although she remained on good terms with Armstrong-Jones, in 1976, they formally separated. Margaret became the first senior member of the royal family to divorce since Henry VIII, who ended his marriage to Catherine of Aragon to marry Anne Boleyn. Margaret never remarried. In her later years, her health declined. She had always been a chain smoker and drank heavily. She died in 2002 at the age of 71.
The princess died here at 6:30 this morning after suffering a stroke. Confirmation of Princess Margaret's death came in a printed statement posted outside Buckingham Palace.
And we've just read the notice just now.
You know, nothing went quite right for her, did it? And never portrayed very well with the press, I don't think. He always a bit cruel to her, I think.
Margaret isn't the only spare heir the press has been cruel to.
That's what he's been up to.
Is that really him?
That's really him.
Ever since he could walk, Prince Harry, the youngest son of Princess Diana and Prince Charles, has kept Britain's tabloids busy. As the brother of a future king, he is the ultimate spare heir. Growing up in the harsh glare of his parents' acrimonious split and divorce, and the tragic death of his mother in Paris.
There was a hug for one well-wisher. Otherwise, it was hard to believe Princes Harry and William are just 12 and 15.
Harry won the nation's heart at his mother's funeral as the loneliest boy in Britain. But it wasn't long before he began to show a rebellious streak. He was caught smoking cannabis and drinking underage when he was 17.
It was in this pub that the 17-year-old is said to have been drinking and smoking cannabis.
They're serious allegations, and one of the newspapers has actually said that they're prepared to offer us what they describe as a dossier. Well, I'd like to see what's in that, because if there is evidence on which we can act, we'll do so.
Prince Harry wasn't punished by his father. Instead, Charles discussed Harry's problem with him and his brother William before sending him to this rehabilitation clinic in Peckham, South London, where he heard from recovering heroin addicts about the effects of drug taking.
But the young Harry continued to create headlines. He got into brawls with the paparazzi outside London nightclubs.
His wild days as a drinker and smoker of exotic substances might be behind him. But then just a week ago, allegations that he cheated to pass an art exam, strenuously denied by Clarence House, and now last night's fisticuffs.
We know that Prince Harry is a bit of a wild card. He seems to enjoy the nightlife, and no one's having a go at him for that. I mean, he seems to like a night out drinking and dancing with pretty girls. Well, thank goodness he does. But the reality here is that it's gone beyond that.
The reality went even further when Harry was photographed wearing a Nazi uniform at a fancy dress party. Brother William was there too, and the overall theme was colonials and natives.
All the focus has been on Jewish hurt and the old veterans who fought the Second World War. And of course, that is deeply important because it's the month of Auschwitz. But actually, I'm deeply offended too by the very theme of the party that both William and Harry went to get their costumes for. What kind of a theme is colonials and natives in the 21st century? These, you know, what kind of message are they giving about themselves? These aristocrats, these aristobrats, actually.
That's the culture of the British ruling class. It is a colonial culture. For us as Africans, you know, that's our experience of the British monarchy.
I think the difficulty is just that one thing, that you never quite know if you're going to be called upon, as it were, to become king, or instead have what you, if you're being really cynical, could say a relatively pointless life.
Harry next caused an internet sensation when he played strip poker in Las Vegas, leaving little to the imagination. But in the UK, newspapers were constrained by privacy laws.
But like the rest of the British media, we can't show you them, because to do that would be a breach of his privacy, even though they're plastered all over the internet, and you've probably seen them already.
You know, it's almost like we're going back to the days of Edward and Mrs. Simpson, when the whole of the world knew about their affair, but it wasn't reported in the UK.
Despite all this, Harry remained one of the most popular royals. 2 helicopter combat tours in Afghanistan helped. They made him a hero.
Second Lieutenant Wales is back in England, a country which he said he didn't like very much in a recent TV interview. Such a sentiment coming from a member of the royal family would normally generate deeply unflattering headlines, but not now. not in the week of Harry's tabloid reincarnation as the hero soldier prince.
And the question now for Prince Harry is whether he can show the same discipline in the rest of his life now he's back home as he did during the time that he was in the front line, on the front line in Afghanistan. If he falls out of a nightclub drunk in 2 weeks' time, a lot of the good that's been done over the last few days will be undone again very quickly.
The good wasn't undone. Harry's next step was to champion an Olympic-style competition for disabled and wounded servicemen and women. It won him the hearts of the nation.
400 wounded service personnel from 13 countries are competing in the Games, and Harry believes their determination is a lesson to us all.
Prosthetics, dogs, wheelchairs, high-performance cars, 4x4s, tattoos. We've got everything here. It can only be the Invictus Games. No blowing from the left, thank you.
The birth of his nephew, Prince George, pushed Harry further down the royal order, but it hasn't bothered him.
It's fantastic to have another addition to the family. I only hope my brother knows how expensive my babysitting charges are.
Harry seems content in his new role as Britain's favourite spare heir.
He has his faults, but by God, he's got his good points. And you know, when I go on tour with Harry, it's a joy because every day he puts 110% into it. He might be the spare to the heir, but he's made himself very relevant.
The same cannot be said for Harry's uncle, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, once second in line to his elder brother Charles when their mother became Queen Elizabeth. A succession of royal births pushed him down the inheritance list, and his reputation has suffered, despite being, like Prince Harry, a real war hero. In the 80s, he flew helicopters in the Falklands War and was in the thick of the action.
His Royal Highness, Prince Andrew. A lieutenant who calls himself simply the driver was punctual for his briefing. And for the first time, we were allowed to film what is to him simply routine search and surveillance.
By the end of the 90s, his love of flying had earned him another nickname, Air Miles Andy, even though he was an official UK trade and investment ambassador.
The life of a working royal. Prince Andrew's civil list salary is £250,000. None of the prince's trips broke the rules agreed between the Treasury, the Department of Transport and the royal household. Security, journey length, effective use of royal time and, yes, value for money are considered, but a tight schedule, the household argues, is reason enough for flying. Yet other royals are more circumspect. While the Duke of York never took a train or even a scheduled flight for journeys under £2,500, the Princess Royal did so nearly half the time. Prince Edward and his wife a quarter of the time.
If it's good enough for us, why isn't it good enough for members of our royal family? Certain individuals in the royal family may need to be reminded on occasions that we are spending public money.
It's not only air miles that have got the Duke into trouble. His love life has been littered with controversy too. First, there was Koo Stark, an actress from New York. Then came Sarah Ferguson, better known as Fergie. He married her and they had 2 children, the Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Fergie became a figure of fun, ridiculed for her weight issues and labelled the Duchess of Pork by a satirical TV show, Spitting Image.
Media once dubbed me Great Fun Fergie. She was the breath of fresh air. And then it was just round, and then it was Fat Fergie, which gave way to Fat and Appalling Fergie, and ultimately my favourite and the best one of all, whoever thought it up, Fergie, the Duchess of Pork. Yes.
Come on, Porky Sword, we're supposed to be entertaining. Can't you forget about money?
Oh, sorry. You're right, I can stand up here and I can laugh. But boy, did it hurt.
Prince Andrew was also hurt by the tabloid headlines alleging his wife's extramarital indiscretions. The main man was John Bryan, a Texan multimillionaire.
John Bryan, the Texas businessman in the pictures with the Duchess of York, was saying nothing in public this morning.
No, I'm sorry, I can't.
But in separate legal moves, he took out 2 court injunctions in an attempt to suppress their publication.
Andrew and Fergie divorced in 1996. But his world came crashing down again when Fergie was caught by a journalist from the News of the World trying to sell access to him. She was asking for £500,000.
What's a hard-up duchess to do when a businessman you hardly know offers cash in return for meeting your ex? Her former husband, Prince Andrew, is the UK's special representative for trade and investment. As such, he has access to some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world. That seems to be why his former wife thought she could sell access to him. Sarah Ferguson told the undercover reporter she only gets £15,000 a year from her divorce settlement. So the guardians of the firm that's based here must now decide whether to push her further from the spheres of royal patronage, or whether that runs the risk of her doing something even more embarrassing in future.
Prince Andrew continued to draw criticism for his globetrotting, and he was seen in the company of numerous controversial figures. Colonel Gaddafi in Libya, and Jeffrey Epstein in New York, a convicted sex offender.
Prince Andrew was later forced to stand down as the UK's special trade emissary after it was revealed he'd visited Epstein on his release. Now the Duke is named in court documents filed this week by a woman claiming she was repeatedly forced to have sexual relations with him.
The uncharacteristically forceful statements from officials here are being driven by Prince Andrew himself.
He'll be kicking anything that comes in sight because he knows he's innocent. And because he knows he's innocent, he's not going to be pushed around and he's not going to be lying low.
And officials are letting it be known that palace lawyers are watching how the story is being reported.
Because Prince Andrew's only referred to in passing in the American proceedings, there's nothing he can do over there. So he has to wait for someone to say something over here that could justify a legal action. And unless they do, he has no way to clear his name.
Britain's royal spare heirs have always had more than their fair share of controversy. And no doubt in the years to come, more skeletons will emerge to further embarrass those who sit on the House of Windsor throne.
It's incredibly difficult for the younger sibling to a future monarch because they are in the public eye, but they don't have the protection perhaps, and they don't have the advice, and they don't have the role of king or queen.